Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're entering the land of speaking skills, and we're going to be talking about getting a dry mouth while we're speaking. Trying to speak with a dry mouth is like trying to lift weights with a dehydrated body. Everything just feels more difficult. And this is not simply a problem that you are facing. This is a problem that many speakers face for a variety of reasons. And in today's episode, I'm going to compile a few of the reasons why you're having dry mouth while you're speaking. And I'm also going to give a practical advice in relationship to why it's happening. But do not take this as medical advice by any means. This is me simply reporting back on my experience from content creation and from public speaking. So let's get started with the first reason why a dry mouth while speaking happens. It's either because you're dehydrated or you're overhydrated. See, I've always heard about dehydrated before, but I never knew that overhydration was a thing. I believe I heard about this phrase when I was roughly 22 years old. I wanted to get six-pack abs, but it felt as though I had too much water weight. I thought that by drinking more water, I was going to flush out the water weight. So each time I went to the restroom, I felt good. I began drinking more and more water, and I began to go to the restroom more and more. But I didn't lose water weight. Instead, I was gaining water weight. Instead, I was getting headaches while I was talking, and my mouth was getting drier and drier than ever. What gives? I'm hydrated. That's because I'm too hydrated. And this is very difficult to give someone advice on because everyone's body is different. But during that stage, one of the things that I realized was that if your urine is too yellow, that means you're dehydrated. But if your urine is too clear, that means you're overhydrated. The best sort of urine is the one where there's a light hint of yellow in it, because this shows that you're in the middle ground territory. This is a framework that has worked for me, and it's a framework that allowed me to manage water correctly to make sure that I'm not over here drinking too much and drying up my mouth. So for the first tip, try to play around with the water variable. If you can get this right, a lot of the dry mouth will begin to melt away. The second reason that dry mouth happens is because of too much alcohol, weed, and high sodium foods. Now notice, I said too much. I didn't say any. Because I know a lot of speakers who drink, I know a lot of speakers who smoke, and I know a lot of speakers that go to McDonald's every other day. And they have crazy durability whenever they're speaking. Why? It's because they do not do it in excess. So with this fix, you want to evaluate, am I smoking too much, drinking too much, eating high sodium foods too much? Because all three of these culprits are responsible for rapid dehydration, which traces back to the last problem, mismanagement of water. So take some time to just evaluate, are these certain things that I could cut back? If so, your dry mouth will heavily reduce. Another reason for a dry mouth is due to stress. Now, the night before a speech, a lot of speakers have their most speech anxiety then. Their eyes are feeling watery, their mouth is feeling dry, palms are feeling a little sweaty. These are normal physiological responses. So on speech day, they want to release that nervous energy somewhere. So a lot of speakers, they go straight for the coffee. A lot of speakers go straight for the water, and they begin overhydrating themselves with water or drinking too much coffee, which causes dehydration of the mouth. And this is just a poor way to behave. This increases speech anxiety, and the poor speaker, their mouth is drier than ever. What's the fix for this? The fix for this is to understand that we cannot always control feelings, but we can always control perception. So rather than viewing it as speech anxiety, view it as speech excitement. And understand that plenty of speakers who have been doing this for 10 to 15 plus years to this day still have the physiological responses of a nervous speaker. They still get the dry mouth the night before the speech. They still get the watery eyes, the shiver in the spine, and such. But they're not over here trying to control the feelings too much. They're like, it is what it is with the feelings. How about at least I control my perception? And that's exactly what they do. Call it speech excitement, and immediately you begin to have more perspective in regards to the dry mouth. And with the correct perspective, the dry mouth is not going to hinder you too much in regards to relaying your talk. And another reason for the dry mouth, chapstick. So here's what happens every now and then. I'm over here recording these videos, and right before I'm about to record a video, I'm like, my lips feel a little chapped. Should I put on chapstick? Well, yeah, go in your pocket and put on some chapstick. I go in my pocket and the chapstick isn't there. I go to my room, the chapstick isn't there. I go to the car and the chapstick still isn't there. And that's when I'm thinking, should I drive to CVS real quick and buy some chapstick? No, quit being such a baby. Start recording the episode. So as I'm starting to record the episode, initially everything is going smooth, but 2 minutes in, something begins to feel off. My lips feel very chapped, and since my lips feel chapped, there's more awareness on my mouth. And now as I'm trying to deliver the talk, I'm like, for some reason, my entire mouth feels dry, but this is weird. I'm hydrated, and the good kind of hydrated. What gives? Why am I instantly feeling dry mouth out of nowhere? But this is when I get my inner scientist coming out. And once the episode is done, I go to CVS, I buy a chapstick, I put the chapstick on, and I try recording another video, and the dry mouth disappears. So whenever your lips are too chapped, it's a front end issue, not a deep ended level issue like the entire mouth. So buy some chapstick or find something to lubricate the lips. And here's a little rule. Just like anytime you're doing laundry, a sock disappears, buy backups of chapstick, because whenever you need a chapstick the most, it just disappears. And one of the last reasons that you get a dry mouth while speaking is because you're speaking for very long. Just to keep the YouTube example going, there are certain times where I record these YouTube videos in bulk. So I'll record 4 videos back to back to back to back. And let's say each of these videos are, 10 minutes each. That's speaking for 40 minutes straight. It doesn't matter how hydrated I am beforehand. By the beginning of the 3rd video, my mouth's like, it's getting a little bit harder to get the words out there. So if you know that you're going to be speaking for a long time, it's good to have water by your side. So to the left of me, there's some water because today's one of my bulk recording days. And here's another tip. If your talk is requiring a lot of cognitive effort, a lot of creative thought, where you're not just reading off a bunch of slides, you're actually having to answer questions, think on your feet, and such, your speaking will require even more energy. It's very similar to just an internal workout. Speaking skills is an athletic workout. You're aligning the mind, breath, and body. So by having the paradigm of an athlete, you will move accordingly with that. So those are a few reasons that people have a dry mouth while speaking. By focusing on why you're getting dry mouth, it's going to become much easier to move accordingly and get your words out there. Is it a chapped lips issue? Is it a stress-related issue? Have you been speaking for too long? Find out whatever it is that's bothering you and then tweak it. With speaking skills, we're never perfect. we're in the process of consistently perfecting. So by having that mindset of constant 1% improvement, it becomes much more fun and fulfilling to improve your articulation skills. If you want more practical insights like this into speaking better, be sure to check out my book, Speak Easy: How to Be Articulate, Assertive, and Audacious Around People. In this book, you will learn how to generate beautiful ideas to talk about. You will learn how to create an articulation chamber so you can practice taking your speaking skills to the gym. You will learn how to play around with the different tonalities of your voice so your voice becomes an instrument that you can use, along with plenty of other topics plus exercises that will keep you engaged. Check out Speakeasy in the links in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on ArmaniTalks.com and grab your copy today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.